Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls' and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of the Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did. Hi, good evening, and it is September 30th. Oh, last day of September already. No, I'm not ready for October yet, but welcome to the Right Side Podcast. Our special guest number one tonight is Amanda Love, who is a candidate for Michigan Secretary of State. So welcome, Amanda. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Deb.
So we are looking forward to getting to know. We love our statewide candidates coming in and talking to us. So I am happy to have you here. So let's get right into it. So start off with telling us like your personal background, where you're from, and
sure,
everything.
So I came out of Washtenaw County, Saline actually. And I went to Western Michigan University with a bunch of well-known Republicans now that you might recognize. Tom Barrett, for example.
Oh, nice.
Matt Hall. And Tom Leonard was part of the group at the same time. He was at Hillsdale, though. A bunch of other big names kind of came out of that Western Michigan College Republican group. So,
wow, good.
Yeah, so I've been a delegate for a long time, over 20 years now. And I've been an activist for a while. I've worked in the State Department. I got my start actually working within the Secretary of State's office under Terry Lynn Land.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And I've ran campaigns as well for my main source of livelihood. So I've seen elections from the inside and the outside, and we have a huge problem here in Michigan.
Yes, we do. And
yes.
There's nobody on this show that's going to disagree with that.
No.
So have you ever run for office before? You've done campaigns, so you've run other people's campaigns.
Yeah.
Have you ever run yourself?
Well, I am an elected school board member in Clarkston.
Okay.
So that was my first crack at it for 3 years ago now. And I've not the most seasoned candidate that you've seen so far, but I really know what I'm doing behind the scenes. I'm
Okay.
running an amazing campaign actually, and I've been doing it on a lot of just volunteer basis. I'm
Okay.
not bought and sold by a consultant. I'm my own consultant. I know how to run elections. I've been doing it my whole life. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a little bit different of a candidacy, being in a convention race. And
Yeah, you have two different, completely different races. One's for the candidate,
Yes.
or one's for the delegates, and one's in the public.
Yes. And being a delegate, I want to be a voice for the delegates. I want to be a solid, strong doer in the office, and I want to get the job done. And I think I have the tenacity to do that. I have the connections and the knowledge and most experience out of any candidate, definitely, that I've seen to get the job done. I actually have on-the-job training in the Secretary of State's office, really. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Awesome. So, and by the way, coming from a former school board member, I thank you for that thankless
Yes,
job.
it
I
is,
know
yeah.
it is. If you can survive school board, you've done something right.
Yes.
It's very difficult. So, tell me, what made you decide to take this on? Why now? Why this office? Why this role?
Well, I've seen issues with our elections since actually stemming from 2017. I really started to notice some trends. And then obviously with 2020 and the TCF Center debacle, that brought to light just the amount of problems that we really have in Michigan. And I want to change things. When I see something wrong, I want to go in there and I want to fix it. And I saw the potentially people thinking about running for Secretary of State, but no one really jumping in. And I thought, well, I have the experience. I know I'll do a great job. And so I decided to throw my hat in the ring. And
Okay.
I have that passion for the delegates. I want to serve the delegates. They have really been a bearer for these elections and fixing them. And I want to be the voice. I want to go in there and I want to actually do it. I mean, there are delegates around my area in the Oakland County area who spend hours a week volunteering their time to find election anomalies, discrepancies, evidence, and it's really time that we bring those to light.
Okay, well, good. So tell me, I mean, I guess you sort of answered it, but what special skills do you have that's going to make you the best candidate? You said you've got a prior experience, so we're gonna we check that box.
Yeah.
So tell me, what other what about you makes you the best candidate?
Well, I've realized serving in the capacity on the school board that I have a great way of getting things done from the inside, while also not compromising any of my conservative values or integrity.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily go in there and throw bombs and burn the place down on the first day. I go in there, I find out how the system works. I often sit in the background. You won't see me with a lot of attention at first. I kind of get the lay of the land. I get to know the system, how to make the changes the most effectively, and I have the fighting spirit to really follow through on all of my campaign promises, if you will. So I do think that I am the right person to fix our election system, and I have the utmost confidence in myself to do this job. I know I can do it.
Okay, awesome. Well, so this is my when I teach, I give I hate the word teach. I give campaign workshops here, and it's usually for
leadership
people
training,
that leadership training too.
Yeah.
But we do I do campaign workshops for particularly first time candidates, but even some of the more seasoned ones come. And one of the concepts that I share is that the best qualified candidate isn't always the one that gets elected, but 100% of the time, the most electable candidate will choose. And how do you become electable? That's what I call the Drick election pie. And the Drick election pie is, imagine a pie with 1,100 pie slices, and they all have a title such as message, such as campaign finance, such as door knockers, which AV chasers, which is sign locations, which is endorsements. So all these pie, where do you have strong pie pieces, and what pie pieces do you need to work on?
I would say my strongest would be the campaign management.
Okay.
I don't know if that's part of it, but
All of
running
it
the
is.
quality campaign,
Sure.
spending my dollars wisely.
Okay.
You're not going to see me needing a lot of money to get through a convention race.
Okay.
I'm going to spend my money wisely, and I
Okay.
take donations very seriously.
Okay.
I don't come from a background of huge money,
Okay.
so I earn every donation I get is from a personal friend who knows me, or
Okay.
from a call and convincing people that I'm the best person for the job. And a lot
Okay.
of my donations are smaller, so I have to
Okay.
get more of them. But I think that makes me really value the money, and I spend it in the really smart ways. You'll kind of see that my campaign is going to be slow but steady
Okay.
and very targeted at first.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna say that my social media presence or my public speaking, that would probably be my least.
That would be the part you need to
Yes,
work
that
on?
would be
Okay.
what I need
Okay.
the most work on.
Okay.
But definitely having the experience, I also have grit, and I have strength, I have tough skin. So I'm not gonna back down.
Good
And,
news.
Yeah,
Okay.
convention races, I've seen them. I've ran them.
Oh, yes.
And they can get
They
pretty.
can.
Yeah.
They can be
And I'm not gonna back down. I'm gonna fight for what's right, and I have the strength to get through it. I have the I'd say knowledge is
Okay.
and strength would be my top.
Okay.
Strengths in this race, and I think people will see that with time. I think time's on my side.
Okay. Do you have any of those endorsements that we're talking about? I know it's a little early, and some people are getting endorsements, some aren't.
Yep.
I'm not talking about Secretary of State, but just in general. So
Sure.
do you have any endorsements that you can tout, or are you still working on those?
Well, I'm not going to release them
Okay,
yet,
all right.
just because, as you know, I'm sure there's a lot of factions within the party. So when I
Mhm.
release one, I want to balance it with another. And so we're kind of working that out. But I have
Okay.
gotten quite a few, and
Okay.
mainly from just delegates,
Okay.
a few
Well,
chairs.
in this
So, you know,
particular case, that's the only
yes,
ones that matter.
and that's the only ones that matter.
That's right.
But
The other
yeah.
ones are, having the guy down the road from you put a sign out isn't right now isn't going to help you
Exactly.
at all.
Exactly right.
All right.
And some of those bigger organizations that I'll want to get for the general, and I'm just not. I haven't been really courting yet. But no, we have a big list of endorsements. I had a sign-in sheet at my event on Mackinac. We got a lot of signatures there. I have an endorsement page on my website. We've been getting a lot there.
Okay.
So we are going to roll it out, but I have decided to wait on that because
Okay.
I want people to
Okay.
get to know me.
Okay.
I don't want people to say, hey, and I already am affiliated with certain names, and just because
Okay.
I've been around so long. So I
Okay.
really wanted to run on my experience and my attributes, and
Okay.
then later on, maybe to turn of the year, release some of those endorsements.
Okay. Okay. Well, and I guess the whole point of an endorsement is to you meet people, and you can meet a certain percentage of the people that are going to vote for you, and you can't meet everybody. So the endorsements help kind of spread that around a little bit.
Sure.
So, but otherwise having them doesn't do you any good until
Right.
you release them. But
Well,
if
and
you're
when
going to
you're only
release them after the
targeting,
beginning, yeah.
you're targeting 8,000 people,
Right.
roughly.
Mhm.
So I am going to call every single one.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, that's good news. Okay, so what is the first thing you intend to do when you get elected? What's like the first change you'll make, or what's your first move?
Well, I definitely want to withdraw from the multi-state compact known as ERIC.
Okay.
That's on day one. I've committed to withdrawing from that because cleaning up our voter rolls is a huge priority,
Okay.
and that needs to be brought back to the Secretary of State's office. This company that we're selling, well, not selling, but we're sending them our data, our driver's license data, all of our personal information,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trusting them to clean up our voter rolls. And they have their own board. They have their own set of rules. They have 25 other states that they're working for. And the newsflash, they're not automatically cleaning up our voter rolls. And
Right.
that's really something that we need to protect, is our sovereignty of our cleaning up of our election data. And that's what I intend to do on day one, is I was telling one of my supporters today, I'm going to Elon style take a chainsaw to the voter rolls and take off these people that mathematically cannot be alive anymore.
Do
That's
a loge.
Yes, exactly. And there's duplicates is actually more of an issue on our rolls than even deceased people are.
Wow.
So we need to get rid of those. Over 1 million, 1.8 roughly. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
out of hand. We need to take control of that and take control of that now. And we've seen Trump take action on this. So the DOJ has actually ordered this data from Michigan is one of the 6 states that have been ordered to produce their voter rolls and their voter information. And now suddenly Benson has decided that she wants to follow the law, and she's citing a privacy concern with doing that. So we have a huge problem in Michigan, and we need to get a handle on it. And Benson, speaking of Benson, she is actively working to make her gubernatorial campaign easier. And she's even talked about, well, she's going to, and there's been hearings about this, but she wants to eliminate all the poll book data after 7 days after an election. So the law says in Michigan 6 years, federally it says 22 months. She wants to eliminate the data in 7 days. I mean, that is nothing less than a cover up. She is covering something up. We all know what it is, but we need to keep fighting, and we need to protect our elections, and we have to get a Republican in there. But not just a Republican that's not going to go along and get along, but a Republican that's going to go in there and get this done.
Okay. Wow. So, all right. Well, let's see. Well, here we are with our token Wayne County.
All right.
Token Wayne County
Hello,
Republican.
Wayne.
Yes, I tease him all the time and tell him he's 50% of the entire Wayne County delegation.
Yeah.
So, and we have Bill Reiber, who is our vice chair for Livingston County Republican Party. Welcome, Bill. And yes, he gives your statement about what needs to be done a big old amen.
Oh, good.
So besides that, what would be your major goals as the Secretary of State?
So we need to stop this trend that we're seeing of illegal aliens voting in our elections.
Okay.
So we all know the Chinese national situation that voted in right here. Well, actually, I think it was Washtenaw County. I'm thinking of Brian Ignatowski in particular. He was affected by that vote. And the Democrats have acknowledged 15 now, I believe. So if you can only imagine how many there really are out there, that they're even acknowledging that 15 number. So we need to get a handle on that. I intend to cross-check our voter registrations with Social Security numbers. That's very simple. It's been done in the past, and it needs to be brought back. We also need to have real consequences for election violators. We have a Secretary of State and an Attorney General who actively will not prosecute any of these. So even if Benson, which she doesn't, even if she did recommend an opinion for these people to have real consequences and real jail time, we don't have an Attorney General in place that's going to prosecute. So we need to fight for these offices. And I fully believe that we are going to have a Republican Attorney General and Secretary of State next year. And we're going to work as a team to get those consequences in place. Good. We cannot keep letting them go off scot-free.
Right. We've had both candidates. We've had both Kevin Kayevsky and Doug Lloyd on here. And frankly, I either candidate would do a very good job, so I'm comfortable with both of them. So I'm glad that you're willing to work. Mark here says, congratulations on your candidacy. Here comes a question. How can dead people be removed from the rolls?
Well, it's very simple. You file a death certificate, and they should be removed immediately. There's no excuse as to why they shouldn't be removed that same day. Who
removes them? Would it be from the state or from the local?
So in my opinion, it should be either. Okay. But yeah, right now the local clerks I'm hearing anyway, that they will try to remove them and that they will be brought back on. They are supposed to submit it to the Secretary of State for them to be removed. However, that's not happening. But in the event that they try to do it themselves, they find that it is overrun.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. That would be bad.
Yes. It's a serious problem.
Yes. That's worse than I think I was aware of. Wow. And then Bill Bill's a trustee here, a local, just got elected. He's been for almost a year now, was told he had to wait 2 elections before they could be removed, correct? No? Don't know?
I'll look into that. I don't believe that's correct. I think if you have a death certificate, you can remove them immediately. And if
what would be the point of waiting 2 years?
I don't I'm not surprised. I mean, that's probably something that has been said or tried to be put into place by Benson. She doesn't follow.
That might be a
the law.
policy. Yeah, she has.
So I'm going to look more into that though, Bill, and that won't be under my watch. I know that's not constitutional, so that will be eliminated immediately as public policy if when I'm elected.
What seriously? What chowderhead would suggest you wait 2 years after someone died to remove them?
Yes,
something just doesn't sound right there. Oh yeah, well, and you know that's a rugged go of it. Having to fight all these things, you know, and you're right. We have a prosecuting, or we have a not a prosecuting attorney general that will support anything they do. So they've got a nice little trifecta over there. You know, it's interesting because if a Republican Secretary of State was breaking the law like that, I cannot imagine a Republican Attorney General not addressing it.
No.
You know, so the fact that they just defend each other like that is just bad news.
It is. It's been devastating for our state, and it cannot continue. It simply cannot. Or Republicans will never win again in Michigan, and our state will go completely into turmoil. But I actually, speaking of Attorney General, I do want to tout that I do have experience within the AG's office as well. So I do bring that to the table. So I'm the only candidate to have SOS experience, AG experience, and vast legislative experience too. Writing laws, policy, that's my major, public policy. I've written many legislative changes throughout my lifetime, and so I really know what to do.
Did you work in the legislature at all?
Yes. Yep.
What did you do there?
So I worked I was a legislative director for a few offices there, and then most recently I worked for the Republican caucus as the Oakland County Regional Director.
Okay. Which offices did you work for? Just curious now.
Yeah, so Rep Scott from the Genesee County area.
Okay.
I worked for Rep Hall, the speaker now.
Okay.
And from Richland, and then I've worked for. I wasn't her legislative director, but I filled in for Rep Steele for a while while she needed some transition help.
Okay.
So I've been in and out there a few times, and then. Yeah, the Oakland County Regional role was a new position created under the new speaker, and it was very successful. And I put my ear to the ground. I got the information from all Oakland County grassroots groups, business groups, and was really able to relay the speaker's messaging and our Oakland County representatives' messaging to all those groups. It was a very successful position, and we've actually increased it. I think there's probably 6 of them now that have been in various locations.
I have, you know, and I think I'm glad you're talking about that because, you know, whether it's the Secretary of State or the Attorney General, the ability to work with it in the legislature and as the Secretary of State or as the Attorney General, you don't have time to go negotiate with them. You know, you have to have people that do that, but you have to know what's possible and what the potential is for change and what is legal and, you know, what's lawful and what isn't. And to have a Secretary of State that just, you know, shoots off their mouth and expect that to somehow become law. I'm glad to hear that you have that experience because, you know, like I said, you won't have time to do it. You'll be torn in like 1,100 different ways, but, you know, you'll have good legislative people working for you that will be able to work your initiatives, but you'll know how to give them so that they're
I know
doable.
The correct avenues to get things done the fastest route. I won't need on-the-job training. I'll be ready to go day one.
Yes, that's important because you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you can't convey that to the legislature, you're not going to, you're going to be on an island. So I'm glad that, it's good that you have that experience because that's going to help you a bunch. So, we have John Smith here that has commended our beautiful office here. Come check it out. That's right. You can always come check it out. We're going to go real quick to a commercial and we shall be back in a couple of minutes. Let's go to this one.
The Exalted Christ Ministry offers resources to help you understand historic Christianity. Visit theexaltedchrist.com for articles, podcasts, and a video series exploring scripture and key historical topics. Get free resources today at www.theexaltedchrist.com.
Welcome to The Right Side.
And with me now is the brand new 7th District Chair, District 3, Livingston County Commissioner, Frank Sample. So welcome, Frank.
You're very active in the American Legion.
Correct.
You're very active in the VFW.
This ideology is very damaging to the students who are told if you get this surgery and make do the social transition, the medical transition, then you'll be happy and all your problems
Yes,
learned so much.
I'll bet. That's some institutional knowledge right there.
And we have, as a special guest, as I said earlier, we have Kevin Rankin with us. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Go Vogue. Thanks, Kelly. There are those everywhere. We love meeting new people.
Right, yes.
It's in good shape, so that's good news.
That safeness is not afforded to every citizen. They are special.
There's a difference between men and women. There's a biological difference, and it's time for us to stand up for our girls.
He went through, and he came back with a report said there's no way Detroit can meet its obligations on the tax base.
Yes.
So is this DEI focused just on the high school, or are they talking about all
district, the entire district?
Maybe that's kind of normal. It's really not. There tends to be little fiefdoms with, different police agencies and police versus fire and fire versus EMS and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case here. So Livingston County is very fortunate.
Hey, not too long ago, in many of our lifetimes, Detroit was the 3rd largest city in America.
Oh, yeah.
3.2 million citizens.
It's been a great experience. I mean, I have no regrets about moving here.
There's an old saying that the road will get you elected, the jail will get you unelected. So, to give you an idea.
You have to have a reason to change for change to be enacted. Okay, we're back. Thanks for hanging around here. So we got some more questions here. Here comes our vice chair again. Can you look at reducing the license plate renewal fees? Well, look at a segue there. We're going to go right into that. I don't see the point of charging people to drive their car when they already pay gas tax, loan interest, and one of the highest insurance rates in the county. Go, Bill. Got anything else to complain about?
Yes.
Oh, wait, excuse me. There's part 2. Better yet, eliminate it. What are your thoughts about license plate renewal fees?
Yes, there's going to be a huge cut in license plate renewal fees because we are eliminating yearly tabs on your birthday. We are getting rid of tabs altogether. We're going to do permanent plates. There's no reason. The technology is there. We can do it. And for the life of your vehicle, your plate will be valid.
Maybe like a QR code on it or something?
Yeah, and there's technology right now in place that the state police are wanting and willing to work with us on. And this has been talk for 20 years, getting rid of tabs.
It's funny because Beau Lefebvre tried something like this, but didn't have the governor was not going to go for it. But yeah, we did the same thing. And I think it was, I want to say it was over the handicap plates, but this is even better because if you have a QR code or whatever code on there that a police officer can scan and find everything they need to know.
And there's always, if there's a problem, there's always a solution. So like you said, handicap plates, the vanity plates, that's not an issue. There's ways around it, and we're going to get rid of tabs. And yearly is just ridiculous anyway.
What would that do to your budget, you think?
Well, it's going to be a tax decrease, and some Republicans have expressed a little bit of concern with the loss of revenue, but I do believe that we can make enough cuts to counteract it. I'm going to make sure that we really tighten up the staffing in the Secretary of State's office, and we're going to get rid of the same day, where we're going to bring back the walking in and more same day appointments. Because when you walk into the office right now, you have to make an appointment. Sometimes you have to wait a week and a half to get into these appointments. And then if you do walk in, you see there's no one in there.
Yeah.
And there's 4 people at the Secretary of State's desk not doing anything. They're just sitting there.
Right.
So we don't need the amount of overhead that we're spending, and our branch offices can definitely be reduced.
Well, yeah, because if you're not renewing tabs, then that cuts down for the need to go to the Secretary of State.
Yes,
and if you do your driver's license online, there's really you've really shrunk down the need.
Yes, because that is the number one is the tabs. So just get rid of them. That's the simple answer. And
Karen here she says she's not a fan of the lifetime plates because they can be stolen. Then what? Well, good point, Karen. What do you think about that?
I think that we would have, with the digital system of the tabs, we'd be able to identify a stolen plate once it's been stolen, and that we could easily replace the plate if it were to get stolen, and then the electronic tab that you could read would be deemed, once it's scanned the first time it's scanned by a police officer, they would be immediately notified this has been stolen, and it actually would be quite easy.
It would be
to
easier.
remedy.
And then so Karen, if your plate was stolen and you would report it stolen and it would get reported to Secretary of State, I would assume they would shut off, or they'd put an alert for that code, and then you'd get a new one, a replacement, and you would have a different code now that's attached to your name. And then, like you said, if as soon as the stolen plate got scanned, it would put out an alert that this is stolen. And so yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see how that would be a worry, but you're right, with electronics these days, that's easy.
Yeah,
That's an easy catch.
And I see some people don't like that technology. It's scary to them, and some people like the old-fashioned sticker.
Yep.
But the time has come, and it's just not cost effective anymore.
No, not. I mean, I know I got my bill yesterday. My birthday's coming up in December, and I looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And what stinks is I just bought the car, like 3-4 months ago, which means I paid for it. Now I'm buying it again, for another year. So
that's my birthday present to all Michigan residents.
Yes.
You no longer have to come into the Secretary of State's
all right.
office.
Yes, we'll look. I don't think I've taken I probably need to get my driver's license renewed because my driver's license is 10 years old. I don't think I look anything like it anymore. But yeah, it's great being able to do this stuff online or whatever. So,
and the Secretary of State's office is it's a tax collection agency, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And we shouldn't make it difficult for people to pay.
Right.
And we need to make it easier. And for streamlining the appointment process, we need to bring more mobile SOS units to rural areas.
Okay.
And I actually have an idea to have senior citizens often don't want to make these online appointments. It's very burdensome for them. So I want to make a number that they can easily call, and they can have this appointment set up for them.
Oh, good.
At the call center. And it wouldn't be an overhead. It would just be somebody working within the regional already existing employee, because I don't imagine there'd be a lot of that. Most people want to make their online appointment, but
it's a blessing for me.
Yes, but there are the senior citizens who don't want to go on their phone, and they don't want to make these online.
I don't trust the phone.
No.
I don't trust it. Yeah.
So you can take your big phone, your home phone, anything, and call and make an appointment. We want to make it easy for you to pay your fees.
That's a reasonable thing.
We need to get rid of outdated fees. We still have a fee for credit cards and electronic fee, I believe it's called. Very outdated fees that need to be eliminated. There's definitely things to cut in the Secretary of State's office.
Like I said, yeah, if you're eliminating the need for the Secretary of State, then shrinking down the size, and that can easily be done with someone retires, you just don't replace them. So it's not like you even have to cut jobs, you just mostly you just eliminate the positions as people retire. So
because they are civil service employees, and there are civil service guidelines that we do need to adhere by.
Sure.
But it is, like you said, through attrition, or it is definitely possible to bring that.
That's a good idea. That's a real good idea. So the next question, then Secretary of State also oversees dealerships, which a lot of people don't know that. So they are kind of go figure. I guess I could see the car connection, but you'd think that would be through Lara, but all right. So it's a Secretary of State's job. So tell me about do you have any thoughts about what you might do in the dealership, the dealership end of things?
To be honest, I'm aware of it. I haven't heard a lot of complaints from dealers. I don't think that's somewhere that I would focus on, to be honest with you, unless somebody out there has a complaint with dealerships or dealer plates. I know there was a time where those were more difficult, but now I honestly have not. I've heard that's pretty been streamlined, and I haven't heard a lot of complaints about it.
I'm going to tell you those issues are alive and well. I went to buy a new car a few years ago, it was during COVID, and the salesman told me that there was a car over here that had just had 5,000 miles on it. It was not a dealer car. He didn't say dealer, but it was something like that. And they said, look, we're treating it as a new car. You have the warranty. Everything's new about it. We'll give you 5,000 off. And I love the car. I love the color. And so I signed up. I paid for it and left. And I get home and I hand my husband the paperwork, and he looks at it and he says, you just bought a used car. And I said, no, it's new. They said it says used and it says no warranty. And what we were outside because it was during COVID, and I remember him putting the paperwork in front of me and holding it down so the wind didn't blow it, and that's where his hand was. And I thought, I was spitting mad. I'm a pretty tough old bird. I'm a rock. I don't go after you. I do not get aggressive. But, if somebody comes at me, I'm generally going to just stand there. I'm not going to, fall over. But this time they got a very angry Debbie.
Well, that sounds like a very shifty deal.
Yes.
And I will bring justice for you.
Yes.
Deb.
Well, I got it.
Okay, you can take care of yourself.
That time. But, I think about all the other people that got that done, and I went back and I am out in the parking lot having a yelling match with the owner and the sales, and I'm my husband here, and I'm yelling the whole time about this. And I said, I've got damages, and I said, I've already gotten rid of my car, and look what you've done here. And he goes, oh, damages now? You sound like you're talking about court cases. Do you really want to go through court, have to pay a lawyer and everything? And I just looked at him. I said, you asked me what I did, but you didn't ask me what my husband did. And I gave him his name, and I said he was a lemon law attorney, the #1 lemon law attorney in the state for 40 years. So go look at your files. I'm sure you'll see something in there.
Oh,
and the
boy.
guy just turned pale.
I was going to say, I bet his
demeanor
changed.
I got a brand new car the next day with 8 miles on it and a whole bunch of money off and everything else. So that was the end of that.
You did?
I did.
Good
Heck
for
yes.
you.
Heck
Okay,
yes.
all right.
I dug down. But I'm saying, how many other people aren't married to a lemon law attorney?
No, that's a good point. And honestly, that's not something I've heard yet on the trail. So
it is.
And it's not something I remember hearing a lot about when I worked at the office, but that's a concern.
Yeah,
and
so,
I bet it happens more than you think, and most people just let it go because they don't
know
like
what to do. Yeah.
And the dealer sounded like he knew what he was.
And my husband wasn't
his first time.
No, and he says, well, maybe I should, because the guy before he offered me the car, he goes, well, maybe I should talk to my attorney. And my husband goes, give him my name, I'll talk to him. Guy goes, okay, let's start again. Okay,
wow.
Let's do. So
that's a huge violation of the court system too, because they know it's going to cost you more money than it's worth, than the loss in value that you got, and they're using that to their advantage.
Being in this community 50 years, I've got a pretty big, wide reach, and everybody would have known exactly who that was. So
yes.
Here we have some questions here. Greg O'Neill, our sole delegate from Conway Township. I think you're in Conway, right, Greg? I have a 24-year-old vehicle that I pay $107 per year for license renewal. Wow. At so many years, it should be grandfathered in. 24. What are you doing driving a 24-year-old vehicle? My goodness. All right, here's Mark. If I'm not mistaken, the Secretary of State, second in line to the governorship after Lieutenant Governor. That is correct, I believe.
That is, yes. So,
yes.
Yep. So Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State. A lot of people think it's the Attorney General, but the Secretary of State is above the Attorney General. So,
and if
take that to the bank.
That's right. That's Mark. Yes. So if the governor and the lieutenant governor are out of the state or out of the country, it is the Secretary of State that then becomes the in charge of, has to sign things. I would like to see a lifetime CPL. Indiana has it. What do you think?
Yeah. I think so. And you said Indiana has it. I think other states do too, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Texas. So no, that's definitely something I agree with, and yeah, I would like to move towards that as well. And I'm actually going to add that to my website. So yeah,
that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Look, you might even want to link some other states that do have that, just so people understand what it is and what the effect is. So, I love my people. I love my people here. My frequent flyers here at the right side. They always come up with the best questions and the best
Yes.
ideas.
This is the most feedback I've gotten on the non-election side of the office.
Well, everybody thinks, it's elections and then it ends. You also, there's also custody. You are the number one custody of all the paperwork and of the Great Seal.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget the protector of the Great Seal.
Great Seal,
yes.
But you also have all the original documents of every bill, of every law, that other stuff. So
yes.
So they're the keeper of the records.
And that is actually what I'm most, other than elections, the keeper of the Great Seal is actually something I'm very excited about. I think that would be a great honor.
It's an honor. It's a responsibility.
It is, and it's serious, and it's a tradition, and it's part of our society and our history. And I am very excited to put that in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, with records, and that will be handled with the utmost attention to detail and preservation, and making sure that those are secured, both from prying eyes, but also from fire, also from anything.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yes, Greg also suggests you get rid of early voting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't commit to that day one that is in our Constitution now.
Yep.
But I want to actively work to get rid of it. It has been nothing but negative for our country. We used to have an election day, and nobody ever had a problem before Trump got elected. No, everybody could make it to the polls. You applied for an absentee ballot when you needed one.
Yep.
This early voting, they're mixing these ballots up, so you can't tell which is you can't track. There's no chain of custody, so you can't track which is absentee, which is an early vote, which is a same day vote. They're all being dumped in the same pile now. It's a huge problem for tracking, and the Secretary of State's gone out of her way to make sure that she's confusing the database. They are not being correctly identified, and actually things are being removed from if you FOIA a record from the.
Ooh, that's not good.
They will give it to you eventually, but some columns will be removed, and you won't be able to tell if it's the same day or it's an absentee ballot. And you really need, especially working in elections, you need to know that stuff.
Sure.
You need to know these results coming in. Are these absentees? Are they, to predict who's going to be the winner, you need to know where these ballots are coming from. But more importantly, you need to be able to follow your ballot from the time it's issued to the time of an audit. You need to have the ballot and the ballot number. Ballot numbers are being deleted from some of these FOIAs.
Oh, that is very bad.
It is very bad. It's very serious. These things that I thought I knew a lot going into this race, but I can tell you, I have seen some of
learn
this.
something new every day. Huh?
Oh yes, and when I'm from the 9th district, and there are some volunteers there, and I always shout out to Tim Better and Meddling Kids over there in the 9th, Lori Skibo. They've done a great job uncovering some of these, and defeating the theories that the Democrats are using, because they want to hide behind this Ishpeming theory of this low turnout county. Well, if you can track the ballot exactly and you know it's an absentee in this, then you can know how people voted in these. No, you're not going to know how people voted. You're not going to know what they voted for. You're just going to be able to know when they turned it in. You're going to have dates. We need to have these dates of when it was turned in. And this whole idea that we need to protect people's right to privacy is a complete farce by the left to corrupt our election system.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, it makes me wonder that if we flip things around, let's talk campaign here for a minute, or a strategy. If we flip things around and go Republican next year, which it is my prediction, as long as we don't do something stupid, we are going to get a complete majority next year. The Democrats, and it sounds like you have too, I have been around a long time with elections, and never in my lifetime, my political adult lifetime, have I ever seen the Democrats so unorganized, so off their rockers. They're just disorganized. They're sticking to the same failing rhetoric, and instead of revising it or being smarter about it, they're just being louder.
Yes.
They're saying the same dumb things just more loudly.
Couldn't
So
agree more.
yeah, and it's not. It's helping us. I every time I see on Facebook or whatnot, a Democrat say something just, as John Kennedy would say, the loon wing.
Yes.
Every time they say something crazy, I just say, well, that's another independent or swing voter that's scooched to the right. So
Yes,
by all means, keep it up. But
100%.
having said that, if we do get a sweep, would you support, or would you like to see another ballot proposal that reverses that early voting?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. We need to eliminate that. We need to eliminate pre-registrations for 16-year-olds. We don't need that. There's no reason why they would automatically be registered. And we need to go back to having a reason to get an absentee ballot. I don't think we need no reason absentee. They want to say that we do because of certain.
Oh, they always say that. Yeah.
First of all, you didn't even have to list. You didn't have to go into detail. You didn't have to provide documentation.
I won't be around.
Yeah,
It's simple,
I'm
yeah.
out of town. You just check a box
I
or
can't
other.
come. I have to work.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yes.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't go back. It's
No, every time we try to make
compromising.
something straight, their canned answer is, "Oh, you're just trying to prevent people from voting."
Yeah, suppress the vote.
Suppress the
No,
vote. Yes.
No.
And then if you come
we are
up with a
not.
reason you fight that, well, then you're a racist.
Yeah, of course. And
yeah.
you should be able to. There should be some time with the same day registrations too. We can't
Oh, God,
cross
no.
check these registrations.
No.
We can't eliminate these illegal aliens from voting in our elections
Mm-hmm.
when you can show up the same day and not be registered voter and vote. We have to eliminate that. So I 100% support getting rid of all of those.
So we have a ballot proposal that's being circulated right now. The citizens only voting. Based on what you're saying,
Yes,
am I
I'm
going to make that-
100%
Okay, all right.
supportive of that.
All
It
right.
will make it in our Constitution,
Mhm.
so it will protect it. So if after me, there's another Democrat Secretary of State, it will be in there. They can't change it.
Right.
We do need that. I mean, a lot of people think it's redundant. It's not. How the law is written right now, they've been able to circumvent it and interpret it in a way where we need to change it and we need to be more clear. I know it shouldn't have to be that way, but it is. We need to clarify that citizens only can vote in our
Mhm.
elections.
Oh, yes. Yes, we've had Megan Reckling on the show, and she's talked about it in detail about the need for it and what's going on and everything.
Yes.
So I'm glad, and I that's probably a ballot proposal. I cannot see that not passing. I just can't.
Yeah, the
So-
only reason I could see it is that redundancy argument. Some people are saying, well, this seems fake because we don't need to.
We already
have that.
we already have that. That's what everybody seems to say. And
Yes.
the thing is, you don't. I mean, you don't. Nobody's checking. What they're doing is,
Yes.
they come in, and we have one of our executive committee members that just tested it out. Said, "Oh, I forgot my ID." And I said, "Okay, sign here that you are who you are." Okay, fine. And then they let him vote.
You
No,
get
it
provisional
turned out he
ballot
was,
and-
but still, I mean, if he
Still.
could do that for himself, he could have done it for anybody else too.
Yep.
So anyway, it's just it's a terrible practice, and I'm glad that it's looking like
It's
people
looking
are
good,
it's
and
yeah.
it's looking good. But let's not take it for granted either.
No,
I
no.
think we need to make sure we get it on the ballot. I think if it gets on the ballot,
Yep.
I believe it's 75-80%.
I think it'll, because I think there are a lot of according to Megan when she was on here, she said that a lot of Democrats were supporting it as well. So
Mhm.
I believe her.
Yes,
So okay.
it's not a partisan issue.
No.
But I did want to bring up, speaking of ballot initiatives,
Okay.
one that's really becoming more real and real every day that's coming down the pipe is this ranked choice voting.
Oh,
and we
that's
have to
so awful.
fight that.
Yes.
So I have championed an effort, one person, one vote, period.
Mhm.
I'm not championed it, but I'm a part of that
Right.
organization and pushing that forward to combat that ballot initiative because that's bad
horrible.
news. You wouldn't want to be a clerk.
Oh
to do
my
ranked
God,
choice
no!
voting.
That would be awful.
No.
And then especially if you've got several days
Oh,
going
gosh.
on,
A complete
you'd
disaster.
have every clerk in the state
Yes.
quit.
And we need to protect our clerks. We need to work
And
as
the
a partner with our
opportunity for
clerks.
cheating in that mess.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it's just That's awful. And even if everybody played it straight and they got a system down where they could get to it eventually, what we'd end up with is everybody's third choice or fourth choice.
Yeah.
Yuck,
That's what they want, though. They want these moderates. They don't want it hurts a lot of the MAGA candidates, actually, to have this ranked choice voting, because you can't win with 43%, 45% of the vote.
I know.
So it's really strengthening the establishment, or the uniparty, or whatever you want to call it, and it needs to be stopped.
Right.
And these kids, they're out there. They have smiles on their faces. They're energetic. They're saying it's a grassroots movement, and they're getting people to sign because it sounds great.
A lot of people, they're not even telling them what it is.
No.
I've caught them doing that.
Really?
We had a booth here at a local fair. We had a Republican booth, and they came over to me and tried to, convince it. I came right back with, no, this is what's going to happen. This is what'll happen. And he says, well, the majority will be happy with it, because the majority will have, have selected them. I said, the majority selects the winner now.
Right.
How does this different? And he, well, okay, I guess you're right. This just silly that, we can just keep going and anyway, just silly. It gives everybody their, it's like the third runner up, the third string is who ends up winning. And, no. So I'm glad you're against that.
Well, Oakland County, the 11th district actually is fighting that. They have cards with QR codes to fight this ranked choice voting. So
good.
they're really spearheading it. I'm so proud of them. And we really need to keep this in the what we're talking about is to make this word of mouth to our non-activist friends. We all as Republicans know not to sign this, but
sure.
An independent or anybody just walking outside the post office, they get approached by this young kid that just says he's from the grassroots.
Sure.
That he wants this, we really need to get that messaging out there. And they're showing up speaking of Oakland County, we had a education event about ranked choice voting, what it is, how to stop it. And they are showing up to these meetings, trying to talk and take over the meetings. And they're very organized. They are showing up to our events and trying to sabotage them. So it's not a grassroots movement.
No.
It's well funded.
It is.
And well organized.
Yes.
And if I had to guess, I would guess some
top dollars coming down for that one. Yes, I agree. If I had to guess, I'd be agreeing with you. All right. Well, that's a big no. But yes, hopefully citizens only voting doesn't seem to have too much of a and that is going to make such a difference. So that is between that and the getting rid of the early voting, I think that'll make a huge difference in our elections.
Yes. Cleaning up our rules.
Yep.
No following the law. That's a great start as a Secretary of State. Yeah.
And
she set a very low bar.
I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more. Nobody in America should ever question the validity of our elections. That is that is like a base of why America is such a great place, because lots of other countries do not have that ability or that right.
Yeah.
So having
bedrock of our society is free and fair
yes,
elections.
it is absolutely.
Both sides want this. It's not a partisan issue. Most people agree with the one person, one vote premise, right?
Good.
That's what our country was founded on.
Right.
I already have bipartisan support because it's just common sense what we're talking about. We want clean voter rolls. We don't want illegals voting in our elections. These are not partisan issues. These are common sense issues.
Right.
So I believe strongly that we have a great campaign for the general. I'm excited to get there.
Okay. So what would you have to say? Do you have anything else you want to say to the delegates that are watching and that will be watching on the way to work tomorrow on the way home?
I just want to say I would love to earn your vote. Amanda Love would love to earn your vote. I'm one of you.
You got a website here?
Oh, yes. www.loveformi.net. I have been a delegate for over 20 years. I've been an activist. I want to be your voice. The grassroots, like I said earlier, and there's more out there that I probably don't know about. And Patrick Holbeck, for example, he volunteers a lot of his time to find these issues and to make changes. Patrice Johnson, she's made lots of legislative progress and headway, and she spends 60 hours a week doing some of this stuff. You guys need a voice. You need somebody to take action once they get on there. You need someone who doesn't need on-the-job training, and I am that candidate. I am going to get this job done, and I want to do it for you. So please look into me, and I would love to earn your vote.
Okay. Well, we have, for those coming to our big event, October 15th, our big Reagan Day barn dance and pig roast and cowboy boots and cowboy hats, or at least jeans and sneakers at the very least. Amanda has indicated she's going to be there, so you can meet her there, and she'll be asked to speak as well. So please sign up for that now. Don't wait. Don't stop making me wait, people. Sign up for that today.
Yes.
And then you'll have a chance to meet Amanda and talk to her in person. So,
and did I see on there you're offering student sponsorships
we
for
have
youth?
Well, we have 3 different sponsorships that we're accepting: youth or Turning Point, veterans, or first-time Republicans. Now, I will
love
say
that.
Thank you. I will say we have an abundance of youth. So I'm almost asking people, if you're thinking about doing that, we give a little discount. Instead of 100 a ticket, it's 175 for 2.
Yeah.
But I have veterans more than I have lots of youth tickets, and I have less veterans. So anybody thinking about doing that, please sign up on the website to do a veteran sponsorship, because I have veterans waiting.
If you can't make it too, please consider sponsoring.
Yep.
We need to take care of them.
Yes,
and we need to bring the youth too.
Yes, well, and having the veterans, that was one of when we did our second strategic plan this year, January of 24 or 25. The first one was January 24. That was one of the directives that we agreed on, that we would improve our relationship with veterans. So that's what we've been doing. So we do have a spot for them. So anyway, so you get to meet. So also we will be reaching out to Amanda, as we did everybody else on the show. We will set up a meet and greet for her, give her a little time sometime after. I'm not doing anything before that dinner. I'm not even thinking about it before the dinner. So after the dinner, we'll pick a date. We'll let everybody know when it is, and you can come out and have a meet and greet for her and meet her in person and ask your questions. So
I'll buy the food too.
All right. Well, that's good. We're always good there. So. Yes. All right, well, we have Alex Yarber here, and we have Michigan Department of Education Board member Tom McMillan.
Yes.
They're going to be talking about Alex has a civil lawsuit or a civil complaint, I should say, against local school districts. So he's going to talk about that, and he's going to share that with board member I still call him Rep McMillan. I've known him for a long time. So we're going to talk about that. So we'll be back in a few minutes. And thanks again, Amanda, for coming out. And we'll be right back.
Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why? Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click.
The Exalted Christ Ministry offers resources to help you understand historic Christianity. Visit theexaltedchrist.com for articles, podcasts, and a video series exploring scripture and key historical topics. Get free resources today at www.theexaltedchrist.com.
And we're back, and I'd like to welcome Alex Yarber, who is a Heartland parent, Heartland Schools parent. And Alex has all kinds of fun stuff that goes on over there in the Heartland. He's crazy. He is a watchdog of Heartland Schools, and when they do chowder-headed things, he's right there. So I'm going to bring on Michigan Board of Education member Tom McMillan. Tom, can you hear us okay?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Good. We hear you too. So welcome and thanks for coming.
Yeah, my pleasure. My honor to be here with Alex, and sounds like you're doing good yeoman's work.
Alex is Alex is quite the watchdog over there. So they just wanted. So look here, we got a new pop in. We got Jackson County's checked in. So welcome Russ from Jackson. So Alex has. So I'm going to ask Alex to kind of talk about the complaint he filed against Heartland Schools, and kind of just go through that process, and then we'll kind of discuss it when he's done.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long story, Tom, but the short version is that my daughter has operated a TPUSA activism hub for about 18 months. And it's been, in my opinion, wildly successful. I mean, there's been some great programs. She's had consistent meetings, all the positive things that you want to have in a school. And throughout that time, she's attempted to obtain district-sponsored status so that the kids can meet during the day. I mean, that's a huge advantage so that you can attract a wider variety of the student body. I mean, as it is, as just an activism hub, they are required to meet at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. So naturally, if you're involved in sports, you're not going to be able to attend. So there have been, I mean, it's just a real convoluted process. There were a lot of hoops that were thrown at her. And the most recent hoop was that she approached the administration in August about applying, and she had a teacher that was willing to sponsor at that time. They said, "Oh, we're sorry you missed the deadline. You have to wait until June of 2026 to apply for the subsequent academic year." And that's just totally unacceptable for a group with this type of a profile, in my opinion. So, and looking backwards, it caused me to look backwards. And there have been a number of other things that have happened to our family and to her. Namely, in November of 23, she spoke at a school board meeting about boys in the girls' bathroom, because that was something that it was a hot topic at the time, and there were numerous occasions when she would be in the girls' restroom, and then while she was occupying it, a biological boy would be in there with her. Wow. And we filed police reports. We've got everything's documented, but the school at that point in time said, "Well, I'm sorry, we can't do anything about it." So she spoke at the board meeting. It takes a lot of bravery for a 14-year-old to do that, and the speech I thought was well received by those in attendance. in the meeting. 2 days later, she got a text message from a peer, a friend of hers, who was in a class, and said, you're not going to believe this. My English teacher is talking about your speech, and she's not speaking very fondly about it. Disparaged my daughter, indicated that, well, she must not know any transgender kids because transgender kids wouldn't do anything bad. Her friend said that the teacher was acting as though my daughter was stupid. So we filed a complaint with the administration right away. They conducted a so-called investigation that revealed after about, 10 days, 15 days, they indicated to us that they found no evidence of any type of wrongdoing, no evidence of harassment, no evidence of bullying, et cetera, et cetera. Now, we were disappointed, but we accepted it. I mean, we figured, well, okay, that's the way the process works.
Yeah.
We're going to move on. That was on December 1st. Fast forward to January, when the kids went back to school, we find out that this teacher had resigned, had actually retired. And this person is not of retirement age. So there's some really questionable things there. Well, after having this TPUSA experience, I looked back at that, and there's a number of other things that happened even after that where my daughter was discriminated against.
Yeah.
Stop me anytime, Tom, because I could go on and on.
No, keep going. This is helpful.
Let's go to April of 2024. My daughter put together a program where there was a World War II Holocaust survivor that was going to come into Heartland and speak to the community. And it was perfect because at that point in time, the I think it's pronounced Zeckelman Holocaust Center in Farmington Hills was under renovation, and so the kids, normally 8th grade kids in Heartland would go, but that particular year they were not able to because of the renovation. So it was a perfect timing. And she secured a centrally located school building in the Heartland Consolidated Schools to hold this event. It was everyone agreed to it. So then we find out that a radical person in the community who's part of a larger radical group apparently planted a bug in the superintendent's ear that this event could not be allowed to continue at this location or at any school location because of the fact that Charlie Kirk is a racist and a Nazi. And so the next thing we know, we're being told that we have to move the venue to a substantially less desirable location on the other side of the school properties in the back of the old high school near the cafeteria.
Yeah.
It kind of defeated the whole benefit of where we had been originally planned to be. So, my concern is that now the superintendent, and there's a couple of other cases that I've well documented where it appears to me as though the superintendent and the school administration is taking advice and consent from a radical group in the community that is vehemently against anything conservative.
Yeah.
These people call Charlie Kirk a Nazi. They've
Tom, this is all news to you, right? You don't know.
It is. No, it's all news to me. Yeah.
I mean,
you don't know anybody like this.
I've got no, and I don't. I get reports from around the state, but I haven't heard this kind of hostility towards, people of our, people that have values that, are good values, traditional values.
Yeah. So, there's again, it's a six-page complaint. I keep going back to the teacher talking poorly about my daughter's speech, and one thing I realized was that if you go back to I think it was March of 2023, or maybe it was January or February of 2023, we had a member of the Board of Education who is conservative, who went on a podcast, kind of like this, and apparently he said something that someone didn't like. So the next thing he knows, his wife, who is an employee of the district, is under a FERPA investigation because, again, someone from this radical group planted a thought in the mind of the superintendent. The superintendent wrote in his weekly update letter that there was this allegation which totally slandered and defamed this board member. And they commenced a outside private investigator that cost $30,000 to determine that this gentleman and his wife were totally innocent of anything. Nothing was wrong. But $30,000 later, that's what it took. So, no apology from anyone for the slanderous note in the weekly update letter.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to my daughter's situation, our investigation was conducted by an internal bureaucrat who was pretending to be a detective, someone who worked for the school. And it just, looking back at everything now in retrospect, it just doesn't feel right. And I think that there were some things that were wrong. And I feel like some information has been hidden.
Right. Alex, who's is anybody advising you or an attorney or anything like that? Or is that kind of...
I do not have any legal counsel. I've got people that I trust that I turn to. I just looked at you, Deb. I talk to people that are experienced with different types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly, if you had some kind of who first comes to mind, I'm sure it's not a foreign name, is the Colemans, out of Lansing.
Yeah.
I certainly would contribute to any kind of a legal fund to try to, because you're up against the man, kind of, aren't you? I mean, the establishment has a lot of resources. They got a lot of ways that to deal with quote unquote problem parents, which, you're the customer. Unfortunately, they don't view you as the customer. They view you as a problem, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's perplexing. And
Alex, he's not the only conservative parent that has tried to stand up to this group. And this is this is for such a Republican county. This is one wildly liberal district, very liberal, and the superintendent just is off the rails liberal. So I scratch my head. What do you?
Have you guys done any?
Schools are to a degree, but this guy's nuts.
Yeah. Have you guys done any FOIA requests to try to find out if you can find anything out that way?
Oh, yeah, we've gone down that road, and there's some things have been fruitful. The biggest thing there is I think that the pricing process seems to be out of hand. I feel like we're kind of being raked over the coals in terms of what the estimates are for some of this stuff. But we have used that process. I used to chair the oversight committee in the House, and we would deal with FOIA. I think that we should, well, this is off a rabbit hole, but I think a rabbit trail, but we should, I had a bill that would introduce a separate commission. And when people felt like they were, being unfairly priced and FOIAs, they could just appeal for free to this commission, and they'd have the power to set it right, to have an advocate, because otherwise you got to spend all kind of money going to court, and then they figure out a way to get around it. So anyway, I guess you at least have one member of the local board, or is there several, or are these the kind of issues that resonate with voters in that area? Well, I'll give you a quick update. This is a good thing. Information came out late yesterday, I think, that my daughter's application was finally approved
for the turning point.
But this this comes a week plus after I issued a press release indicating that I was going through with this federal complaint process.
Coincidental after 18 months. It just happened, right after right after he went public.
Right.
So
wow. Congratulations on that.
Yeah. So that's great. So we have a board member, another one who's sympathetic to the cause, who posted this news on his campaign site. And I think the last time I heard, it had like over 600 positive reactions to it.
Wow.
Which is incredible. incredible.
for that school district. Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I mean, now granted, we've had some unfortunate circumstances with the passing of Charlie Kirk, and but I think it's drawn much deserved attention to the club and what it does and what it stands for,
right?
And what it does for kids and what it does for the community, and it's a good thing. And so we've got support there, and I don't know how much of that was a function of the ultimate outcome here, but it's tough to put toothpaste back into the tube after you've squeezed it out.
Right.
And my plan is to push forward, and I'm at this point in time waiting to hear a response from the Department of Education and also the Department of Justice.
Is there a civil rights avenue that Alex should talk to, Tom, or a civil rights liaison or ombudsman? Down there that.
Well, I mean, there is the Office of Civil Rights within the Department of Education at the federal level.
That's who I filed with. It was out of Denver. I just don't have a contact person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like that would get and when was that filing?
It was they received my package on a week ago today.
Wow. And then they okay. Well, that probably did prompt. That's good. Congratulations to you on. Now I wonder if they'll still go forward with that, or now that they've approved it, would that be withdrawn?
I think that was only one part of the complaint. There were several segments. So
I see.
So I think the remaining segments will still.
Yeah. It showed a pattern.
I mean,
certainly a pattern of discrimination.
And I don't know. I don't know if that does anything to eliminate the past. Retaliation.
But it does put it on record that this has happened. So if it does happen again, there's now 2 complaints.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
No, I wonder if others are being inspired around the state to form their own chapters. I would hope so.
We've got 2 more that are popping up here on top. Now she's done the kind of unofficial non-school, but the advocacy group for 18 months, right? And so now we have 2 other schools that are looking into forming chapters. That's just in our county. So we're looking.
Yeah, I think Milford just got one.
Yep.
I think there's a number of others there in that area that are trying to start one. So yeah, I mean, my daughter's people are reaching out to her about starting clubs. She's being asked to speak at different community events. I mean,
the Republican Party did a vigil here in the community, and our courthouse lawn had somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people on it. It was just packed, and I had his daughter speak. And she was just bombarded afterwards with, will you, can you, how do I, so it was great to see.
Sure. Yeah.
Very intelligent young lady.
Yeah. And it's such an encouragement to see you standing up, Alex, and your daughter too. I mean, we, it's amazing at the state board level. The hostility towards parents is pretty incredible. I mean, we've, Nikki and I, Nikki Snyder, the other member, there's 2 of us and 6 of the Democrats, but we've even proposed that our bylaws would allow some kind of an avenue where parents can come to have a formal way to come to the board, and the board could use resources to kind of investigate when they're being, stonewalled or discriminated against. Because really, you're up against, these districts that have a lot of resources. And I really think, and if state voters would at least elect 2 more coming up next year, Republicans, we'd have a 4-to-4 split, and it could be something that we could get in to the bylaws where you should be going through the federal level and any other levels, but you should also be able to petition the state board and say, hey, these people are stonewalling me or they're discriminating. Can you use some resources at the state level? We don't have the power to force the locals to do something, but to at least expose it, hold a hearing, force them to turn over documents to us. I mean, to really make things shine the light on what's going on. Because, I talk at the board meetings, they keep wanting more money and more money. And I say, well, yeah, but your customers, you keep, disrespecting them. And, do you really think that you're going to get more money from people who, you're doing this to and discriminating and stonewalling? I mean, you really need to start treating parents more like customers, and the taxpayers in general. So it usually falls on deaf ears. But people like you, Alex, really encourage me, and I'm sure Nikki as well, to really be more bold, because the more examples we can show that, they're not, there's really, there's a hostility towards parents, I think the more likely they'll bend and they'll break in this area. And
let me
stop
share.
doing it.
And we see what you're doing, Tom, and we really appreciate it, and we know the battle that you face on many fronts. But a real quick another story that I think demonstrates the
if you weren't going to tell it, I was going to.
the breadth of what we're up against. At the board meeting on the 15th, one of the members sympathetic to the cause motioned at the beginning of the meeting to have a minute of silence in honor of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
And there was a lot of controversy about this, and the board president was quoted as saying, "This vote is going to put a lot of us in a very precarious situation." So take that for what it is. I think it's hurtful to those of us who were impacted by what happened to Charlie.
Yeah.
And it, I don't know, it demonstrates something that's concerning.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're up against.
Yeah. A way of really understanding that they're not aligned to just reasonable values. You're not asking for, 20 minutes. You're just they were asking for a moment of silence.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, ultimately, the vote was held and everybody voted in favor of it, believe it or not. So, but the cat was out of the bag.
Yeah.
But why would you say something like that? Just
right.
Why? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why, what the whole point is, other than, to try to make it, put fault or put something negative, a spin it. So just on the side here, Mark appreciates what you and Nikki are doing on the state board, and Mark's talking about he was a Highland Park school board member and a longtime activist, and he said he's pretty much the only one that's ever been a Trump supporter there. So thank you for your service there, Mark. I was a school board member too for a while, and that has got to be the most thankless job on the planet. It really is.
Tough work.
It's tough work, especially when you're fighting. Fortunately, I came in with a big sweep where we had the conservative majority, and things got a lot of crap cleaned up during that.
Yeah.
time.
When is the next election there in Heartland? Local school board.
Next year, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It's just on the. I didn't know if there was any interim or anything.
Half of them or something, 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you have 4 next year. Oh wait, no, because you had a 2-year, so you have 3 next year. But then Jeff would be a 2-year, so that would be him too, right? Jeff won the 2, so there'll be 4.
Yeah.
There'll
Okay.
be 4 up, so that'll be. And so, do you have Republican state board members identified?
No, candidates. No, I was thinking about that. I like the process to go forward, without too much or without any heavy hand, but we certainly would be looking. There's candidates that, we just need we need a couple that will really go out there and pound the pavement and, try to understand what's going on in Heartland and other areas. And, it's, I think that there's 2 Democrat seats up next year. So we could go 4-4 if we could win both of those.
Are there district? How does that go? Is that districts or is it statewide?
It's statewide. There's been efforts in the past, and I actually supported them when I was in the legislature to try to have districts so there's people throughout the state. But yeah, it's statewide currently.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna. I think as part of the party, I'll make it a mission, kind of a mission to kind of nudge some people and trying to get somebody interested. Is that a open or is that done at a convention?
It's it's at the convention.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know if it would be the I don't know if it would be what is that, in April or in March?
Nominated one, yeah, the nominating convention.
Yeah, I don't know if all of them or if it's just like the AG and some of the major ones that are done in the spring.
If you're going to do one, I can't imagine you're not doing all of them, right? Because the whole point of doing the nominating convention was to give the nominated candidates that much more time to raise money going into the general. Because if you start raising money at the end of August in a regular primary or a regular convention, you only got a couple of months, to raise money, whereas the Democrats do the nominating when they start raising money early. At least that was Chairman Runstead's statement to me. So I would imagine if you're going to do a convention, a nominating convention, you might as well get everybody. So I'm hoping because you're right. I mean, of course, on the other hand, I don't necessarily know that there's so many Republican candidates that they're going to be fighting that they need a primary. It's going to be, how it's going to be, right?
Yeah, and there's these issues like the ones Alex is seeing. They're not minor. I mean, it really does expose a hostility, like I said, and combine that with the dropping, how bad we are with in the reading scores, and they're very into woke technology or woke, pushing woke doctrines. And I know, Deb, we're going to talk a little bit about that,
sure.
With the health standards coming up, and so they need to spend the time away from that, and stop spending time trying to push these leftist agendas and really focus on the basics. And I think that we'd be doing a lot better.
I agree. I agree.
We need candidates that'll push that. I think it's a very popular thing right now. People are understanding and really pushing back. And, President Trump has been pushing back on this woke doctrines as well. And it's been helpful. And I think that, folks like Alex and his daughter standing up really helps to really get the word out, and to, not only are you fighting for what's right, but you're also exposing, what needs to change in the system.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, and I understand why more parents don't do exactly what I'm doing, but it would be nice to see more people at the board meetings. One item I wanted to mention was that another board member, Greg Keller, shot me a link of some testimony that he provided to the state legislature today, a committee that was looking at a bill to make school board elections a partisan race.
Oh God, that would be great.
So there's some committee meetings that are taking place right now regarding that topic, and I think
that's in the House, right?
Yeah, that's in that. Yep. So that would be, I think it would be a good thing. People don't know who they're voting for, and when you look at the ballot for the nonpartisan races, a lot of times those are not voted.
Yeah.
People don't, they don't understand where the candidate, where their position is.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I guess there'd be a primary as well. It'd be kind of interesting.
Yep. I do. I think it would be a great idea. At this particular time, I can't see in a million years either the Senate or the governor allowing that one to go through. But it's not a bad idea to start the conversation now, and then if we get majority next time, whip that one right through the whole process. Because even in Livingston County, we are very red here, very, very red.
Sure.
But our nonpartisan races go blue. They just go blue. And that is because you don't know, right? And it's hard to, and we try to get the word out or whatever. And as a Michigan State fan, saying go blue is hard for me to say. So just so you know, that hurt.
Amen, sister.
So anyway, so you had something else you wanted to kind of chat about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mentioned to you that right now, one of the State Board of Education, kind of a couple of the major things we do is we just hired a new state superintendent. I didn't vote for him, but that's one of the
another one, a nice recent, like how recent?
We just voted at the end of August because the current Dr. Rice is, I think tomorrow or today was his last day or something, which couldn't come fast enough, quite frankly.
I was just going to say, I did not like him at all.
So this new one, and as a matter of fact, during the interviews back in August, I asked all the candidates, there's a policy right now that the Michigan Department of Education, which the superintendent oversees, that they are training teachers on how to hide the fact that, their kids are being, called, Bobby is being called Susie, and they're hiding that in their system. They're giving teacher training on how to hide it so that, when report cards go home, it's got the name Bobby and not Susie, even though the Bobby's being called Susie at school. At parent teacher conferences, there's training on how to make sure that you don't, let the parents know what's going on, what bathrooms Bobby is going to, and all those kind of things. And so I asked, is this something that you would continue? And the one who, there were some that were pretty clear with a good answer, saying, no, we should be honest with parents. And for the most part, the new superintendent, Glenn Maleko, I tried to pin him down. He gave an answer that wasn't as bad as they could have. So we'll have to see. Maybe he will stop this practice and make it so that we don't. If they're not overt, and they shouldn't do it at all. They should make sure that parents know what's going on. But at any rate, yeah, we just hired him. He starts. Actually, I think he doesn't start till January 1st, or maybe even in January. But so there's going to be an interim for a few months. But the other thing that we do besides that is that we approve standards, K-12 standards, and also teaching standards. And it can be math standards or history standards. Well, currently, there are proposed standards for the K-12, kindergarten to 12th grade, Michigan Health Education Standards. And what happens is, a panel of quote unquote experts put these forward. The state board can say, okay, go ahead and put these out for public comment. And then after public comments, depending on what the comments were, they go back and they make some changes and they present it to the state board and we either approve them or not. And so those are out for public comment right now. The K-12 Michigan Health Education Standards. And, these, I don't think they've had updates in, I think 15 years or something like that. So they'll be around quite a while likely. And, there's a lot of woke agenda within it. And there's just a lot of things that I think are problems. But they're out for public comment until October 10th at midnight. And so that's what people can comment on it. It's really easy to find. There's at the state website. There is a website. You go to michigan.gov MDE, and you can search news and information, and then go to public comment. I can even put it. Well, I can put it in the chat.
We're doing it right now. Backslash.
MDE/news-and-information, and then /.
Oh my God! No, you do all that. You put it in there.
So public comment.
Oh my gosh! All right.
But at any rate, yeah. So you could look up, or you could, I think that if they went to the website michigan.gov /MDE, and you could navigate. It's pretty simple to find. And then it's where public comment is going on. And so there's a link to the proposed standards. You can download it and search it, search gender identity. It's in there, quite a bit. I think there's an area defining public health policies and government regulations and explain how they influence health promotion and disease in both positive and negative ways. I really think standards should talk more about when government has been wrong, when health standards, whether it was the food pyramid or whether it was some of the COVID policies, that we should really make sure that students understand as part of their standards that, hey, government can be wrong. They're not always right in some of these things. So that's why you need to question them. You need to really understand what the incentives are. And again, yeah, there's quite a bit on gender identity, gender expression. So yeah, these are, yeah, I see Angela's asking, what are these health standards? They're K-12, and they are what will be the standards throughout the state if they're approved by the state board, probably in November. But right now is the time that people can give public comment. So it's, it's, I don't know, 10 pages or so, and it basically gives an outline of what the standards, what teachers are supposed to cover in health. And really, it's, to some degree, it's getting around sex education, because there's supposed to be parent committees at the local level for sex education. But one tactic they use, the left, is that they bury it in what's called health education.
Yep.
And so that then parents don't have a say in it. So I oppose it for that reason too. A lot of this gender identity and gender expression and things like this should be removed, and it should be put in, if they're going to put it in, they ought to do it through the right processes. But they really shouldn't have this stuff in there at any rate. But
on another note, if I were going to nominate one person to run for State Board of Ed, that would be the name I would nominate. So Angela, just know that I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
she's a dynamo.
Yeah. And I would encourage, so yeah, you can also go, I have a Facebook page. I posted on my personal, but I also posted it on my State Board of Education. So if you go to Facebook and look up Tom McMillan, State Board of Education, you can find a link, a post there that I just posted recently, and you can find it there as well.
Okay, hold on. Let me take that off there. Oh, you can, yeah, just put his name on there, Tom, and it's McMillin.
Yeah.
Okay, not A. Get the A out of there.
Right, IN.
There we go. All right, here we go. Okay, we'll put that up there too. So go on Facebook and look up Tom, and you can find these links.
Yeah.
I have a couple topics I have a couple questions. First of all, this training video, you talked to me about that the last time you're on this podcast. This training, whatever, it's a video or a session. Yeah. Have you been able to get a copy of that?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I posted it, and I can send that. I can send that to you. The official one has been blocked. You have to get approval. You can even find an article in Bridge Magazine about it, because when Whitmer was running against Tudor Dixon, there was an article. If you just Googled Bridge Magazine and transgender or videos, and Dixon and Whitmer, you would find it. Although the hot link there is now blocked. The left has decided that they don't want us to see what they're informing teachers to, as far as teacher training regarding how to hide things from parents. But what is it? Impact Ottawa? It's the one with Joe. What's Joe's last name? At any rate, there's folks over in Ottawa. They did already make a video. They did copy those videos, and so I have them. In the, I also have them in a post, but I can get that to you.
Email those, just reply to the emails that I've been sending you.
Yeah.
And if you'll do that, these will get played on air.
Yeah.
And we're getting some pretty good reach here. So I want those out.
Yeah.
I want those out there badly. I might even bring a couple school board members on here to show these, and let's talk about this, because that's concerning. That is super concerning.
Yeah.
I cannot in a million years. I mean, anybody that thinks that the left grooming doesn't exist doesn't understand the theory of how to boil a frog, which is you put the frog in the cold water and you turn the heat on low, and it takes forever to get warm. And by the time it boils, too late, you're there. And that is what has happened. If you think back 20 years ago, would we ever have believed that this would be an issue, or that any teacher would ever go behind a parent's back and hide its gender, or push boys into girls' bathrooms or into sport?
Yeah.
It happened again. I was a frog. I got boiled. I didn't realize it till it was already happening. It's just so slow and so slick.
Yep.
So, but now we know. Now we gotta fight it out. We gotta, the light is the best disinfectant and all that. But that is exactly what we've got to do. The light is the best sterilizer.
Right.
So time to sterilize this. What are the term limits for the Board of Ed? Sorry, not term limits. The term.
Terms are 8 years.
Oh wow!
And it's quite a long period of time. And every 2 years. So Nikki and I just got back on. We got reelected in November, and so for the next 6 years, every 2 years there'll be 2 Democrats up. So it's really an opportunity for us.
Okay.
And I really feel the unions have really helped the Democrats in the past, but I think that the issues that the failures of when it comes to reading and other areas, and then how they're pushing the woke agenda, I really feel that it's not just the conservatives, but I think the moderates and people in the middle really see that there's a big problem here.
Sure.
They are turning towards Republicans.
Well, they are simply because they might. And this is my statement has always been that they may be Democrats, but they're parents too, or their parents first. And Democrats with teenage daughters might have a different opinion about what's going on in the schools than say a Democrat without kids in the school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the kind of the Elon Musk effect, right? Where he got involved, and it was, from what I understand, it was an issue. Like it was this issue that really helped him move him into involvement and towards the Republican side.
I think I'm going to spend a little time trying to put the word out for state Board of Education members and who might be interested in maybe even starting some fundraisers. We can get some candidates starting to get some fundraisers to help them kind of launch them a little bit. But I also am going to reach out to state party and find out, is this is the nominating convention, is this including school board members, or is this simply the top brass? I don't know. Like I said, I can't imagine if you're going to do it, you don't do it for everybody, because again, it just makes it that much longer that you have to fundraise, which is the whole point of it. So we'll have to see. But how in 23 or 22, I should say, for the 23 election, 22, the big thing, all the Democrats ran on abortion and they all got elected. I feel like anybody that runs next year on the boys and girls issue is going to also get elected. You have a good opportunity to take those 2 seats.
And it's amazing, Deb, at the state board, whenever this issue comes up, and Deb and Nikki and I, we put forward resolutions. The left knows it's a losing issue. I mean, it's like an 80%. 20 issue. I mean, they try to avoid it. They try to obfuscate. They never try to defend any of their positions on this stuff. And they try to say it doesn't happen. But the more that people like Alex, talk about not necessarily just, the transgender issues, but just the hostility towards parents or the discrimination that goes on, they continuously are saying, this doesn't happen. This isn't happening. And so, the more that we can just point to something, it does help to, buttress our arguments, and really they continue to go and hide even more, the left. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and, people can also, they can comment. There's, we have, public comment set time at our state board meetings. And so, right after lunch, you just sign up. And you can give 3 minutes and people can call in. They started allowing call-ins during COVID and they continued those. So people can do that as well, and express concerns, whether it's, about what's going on locally. We have people that talk about what's going on locally to make sure we understand, like Alex and your daughter, or the standards, or whatever they'd like to talk about, as long as it's done, relatively respectfully. And we've had some really good callers and people that have driven to Lansing and given their 3 minutes as well.
So the State Department of Ed doesn't have any civil rights liaison or ombudsman or anything like that, like the federal would?
No, I don't think that. No, I mean, there's when you're talking about special education, and there are civil rights issues
right.
in those, but as far as, no, I mean, basically that was, I mean, conceivably you could go to the Attorney General, although our current Nessel would never give ear to this kind of discrimination.
Nope.
She claims to have fought other discrimination, but she could care less about these kind of discrimination, I'm sure. But, I mean, this truly is what Nikki and I were wanting to do, is to have a place at the state level, on the state board, where we could, I would really like to have a board meeting in Heartland and, have some testimony and hear, let's hear people try to defend it too. Let's hear, are they gonna try to defend it?
Let me know. I'll be selling popcorn at that one. Wow, that would be one. You would have, standing. We I don't know if we have a venue big enough.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the kind of thing that, although, and I appreciate the local control nature that we have in the state of Michigan, but we, as a state board, we can shine a light, we can hold hearings, and then we can also devote resources. If we had somebody who, the committee of the state board that was looking at, parental concerns, had a staff person who was calling Heartland and saying, I want to see these documents. Are you going to stonewall the state board? I want to understand what's your side. Why is it taking 18 months? Why is it taking 4 months? And there really needs to be avenues that parents can have when they're going up against the local districts, and they're and again, I think that the left needs to understand, the more you discriminate against and you treat your customers like this, when you go out and try to claim that they need more money, who wants, they're going to have problems. This is not something that we want to spend a lot of money in areas where they're thumbing their nose at us, and they're treating you like they have been treating you. So, and I don't know if the locals there are going after any millages or, but this is the kind of stuff that really gets people upset, and rightly so, Alex.
And even in a very liberal area, which this school district is extremely liberal. Their board is a 4-3 split on the liberal end. But even in that area, it has happened. There's so much. This was the issue, and then the papers it was DEI, and the President Trump rules no DEI, and they're going to do it anyway. So now all comes the parents and the complaints, and then eventually they had a big old out of the blue, they had this last minute meeting and said, okay, we're getting rid of all DEI. So I don't know if it's happened, or if it's it's now slid under health or something like they did instead, if they just slid it under another umbrella. But they did make the statement. So I mean, people standing up and pushing is starting to work even in this place. So but you can only go so long before even though you won this battle, or not we, but the liberals stuck to their guns and stuck to their guns and stuck to their guns. Eventually, even people that were defending them start thinking, again, another one.
Right.
You get that walk like a duck and quack like a duck. Thoughts start to form. So I love that. Alex is fighting. I love his wife and his daughter fighting it too. And we have those, Glenn and Greg and Jeff Scott that are fighting for the conservatives there. And the more this stuff comes out, the more ground they gain. And the parents, God bless you parents for showing up there and fighting it too, because that you can see it's starting to work. I mean, Alex's daughter fought for that the Turning Point chapter there, and then it wasn't until Alex filed this that by the way, you can. It's okay.
Yeah. And and I mean, people need to understand that there's probably other places within Michigan where these issues, and if they knew what Alex knows about filing what he did, that there really needs to be a lot more communication with, what works, and, make sure that others know about it. Because I'm sure there's others in your situation around the state that if they knew how to file what you just did, it would make all the difference.
Yeah, and I'd love to speak with anybody who's interested, and I share whatever I learned about it, and try to give them tips and help them out. Definitely.
Right.
And maybe we ought to put something out
Yeah.
about that. Just put out a general communication to the rest of the chairs in the state saying, this is what happened. This is what worked. Let's all get together. Let's all write our letters all at once.
Right.
And, have a big statewide meeting. How to write a letter to how to complain. So,
Well, and thankfully, right now at the federal level, we have an administration that is more interested in listening to parents and to reason. And so, while we've got that ability, we ought to be taking advantage of it, like Alex did, where we've got reasonable people with wisdom making decisions at the federal level. And I think those in your school district understood that and knew it was going to be an expensive process.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you go federal, that you start losing your buddy system starts to weaken.
Well, and it's going to cost them a lot. It's going to, potentially headlines, and they're going to give in eventually if they see the writing on the wall. So yeah, they might as well do it quickly.
Right.
And so God bless you, Alex, and your daughter and family.
I appreciate the encouragement. It's helpful and it's appreciated.
Yeah.
And Tom, once again, you've done a great job here. You've given us a lot to think about and a lot of knowledge. I promise I will put some effort into try and find you at least one good candidate, and maybe working with some other chairs to get another one. I feel like, we can go through the legislature, we can flip all that stuff, but if our state board is still blue, then a lot of that stuff.
That's a big rock.
It's a big rock you're right. It's a big rock. It's a big hurdle.
Yeah.
So it helps to have the other stuff, but I think if we can flip this, and at least get you a split for this year, and maybe even, God forbid, a majority 2 years later.
Right.
That would be wonderful. So we'll see what we can do. We need to get some real dedicated people.
Yep. No, I appreciate it. Yep.
Commit to help them. So, all right. Well, thank you again for stopping by, and don't forget to email me those videos.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to be working on those.
All right, Tim. Sounds
all
good.
right. Thanks.
All right.
All right. So, so we have, so that's good news that you got that. Boy, Tom is just so full of information, and he's just great. I worked with him when we were in the legislature. I worked for a senator, and we worked on some bills together, and he was great to work with. And I admire his dedication to this, because as you know, it can't be easy to constantly be, what is it, 6 to 2, and he's always on the losing end of that. But God bless him and Nikki, they just keep at it. So anybody out there that's even interested in running, let's talk. I would help. I'm sure we could really get the statewide support for a couple of good candidates. And I think that, this year, especially because we've got candidates we got to go with, but not so many local. So I think we can kind of push a little of that. And I know I would be willing to do some fundraising. So, well, let's see. Mark, what do you mean you're not going to be here? Where are your priorities, mister? You're supposed to be here. So, the good news is, if you can't be here, what do we have next year? I don't remember. I don't have my calendar with me. I want to say we have a gubernatorial candidate coming in next week. So if not, it's the week. No, it is next week. I think it is. So we have, I don't remember if it's Eric Nesbitt or Mike Cox. One of them, I believe, is going to be here next week. So Mark, that's what you get. But the good news is you can always go to the YouTube channel and watch the rerun, or go to our Livingston County Republican Party page and watch the rerun. Once again, want to kind of give a shout out to all those who are Stephen Bearden, who was here last week. He did a major sponsorship for our Reagan Day dinner, which I appreciate. Jason Huntley, who's also a major sponsor of this podcast. Want to give a shout out to him. Prosecutor Carolyn Henry, and is creating a table for us. And I want to really give out some shout outs to Karen Bukowski, former state representative Hank Vopel, let's see who else. Oh, and Secretary of State candidate Monica Yatuma, who are sponsoring some vets and some young Republicans, and then former prosecutor and former Chief Justice David Reeder sponsored a whole table of. He called me last night and he sponsored a whole table of Turning Point kids or young Republicans. Yeah, so nice. I'm looking for Republican youth. If you know local Republican youth that want to come to our event on the 15th, it's going to have a little bit of a service for Charlie, but also we've got some youth that are going to be there, and I would just as soon put all the youth at the same tables and let them all network and get to know each other and form some friendships across the school district. So but we have several that are signed up, and I'm still looking for more. So if you have a Republican youth that would like to come to this event, and if the Republican youth wants to bring you, that's fine too. I can, I'll give you a couple tickets. So reach out to me, chair@livingstonrepublicans.com. That's Republicans with an S, plural.com, and just let me know that you or your neighbor or your son or whatever, they want to come, high school kids or college kids, either way, we consider them all. In my age, Alex is a young Republican. So, so you are.
Oh, nice.
Good news. Always hang out with older people. So anyway, so please, if you haven't, please consider buying a ticket. This is going to be the most fun event we've ever had. I just know it. Once again, we have 2 more weeks of line dancing tomorrow night and following Wednesday, 7:00 at the American Legion. We're going to do not tons, but some line dancing at the barn party, the Reagan Day dinner. And I figured we need some people that know the line dance. So we've had a regular crowd that's been coming and learning these dances. So we're going to put on a little show here, and it'll be fun. And then we have some beginning square dancing after that. So make sure you come. This is not Dancing with the Stars. It's beginners. It's just going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. We're going to hear from all of our statewide candidates that come. We'll have an opportunity to speak, so you get to hear from them. So, Mark Ashley Price, you just need to figure out a way to get out here. That's all there is to it. You need to come to our event on October 15th. So go to www.livingstonrepublicans. Don't worry about it, Tyler. www.livingstonrepublicans.com. You'll see the sign for Reagan Day. Sign up, get your tickets, sponsor a vet, sponsor vets. I got enough for kids. Sponsor some vets or sponsor some first-time Republican voters. Either way, we really we could use your sponsorship, and also we want to include more vets and kids and first-time voters in our events and get them kind of acclimated to us and kind of answer their questions and get them to be part of things. This is how we happen. We got a bunch of new people that I do not know that signed up. That excites me more than anything. So I'm really looking forward to meeting them. So okay, so that's it for tonight. Thank you, Alex, for coming on, and thanks
for having me.
Thanks to Tom for all coming in, and hang tight. I'm going to bring that video to you. He told me about that last time, and I'm going to see if I can't find the original version of that, the one that's blocked. Somebody will get a hold of that. So, all right, good night, and we will see you next week.